Now that I have 4 spools of the same kind of thread, I'm just going to place them on the spool pin. My caps are up, and I take this thread from the back of the machine and bring it forward through the thread stand. When I bring it down, I'm going to take it underneath this guide, and I'm going to bring it in from the left and pull it to the right, and then I just kind of thread it like this to make sure that I have it nicely in there. So we'll do that with each one of our threads. We'll put them on the thread stand, pull the thread through the thread guide, and left to right, make sure that it freely flows through there, and then you just lie it in the tension control and take it towards the front. As I am threading my machine, I always want to make sure that my presser foot is raised so that it opens up the tension disc and the thread can lie in between. Again, my thread on the stand, make sure it's secure, and I bring in the thread from left to right. It's flowing freely. My presser foot's up, and I just take it to the front of the machine. Now, with my 2 needle threads to the front of the machine and my 2 looper threads on the front of the machine, I'm ready to do the next step. Normally, this door will be closed. You open the door when you are ready to thread your looper threads. And you need to pull them out so you have at least about a foot of extra thread. You're going to use your tweezers. It's a little bit easier if you use your tweezers. And if there is on the end of the thread, like it's kind of furry, just cut it at an angle, and it'll give you a more crisp thread to thread through. I'm going to raise this knob, and you'll notice that it connects right here. Those tubes are now connected, and I'm going to turn, my hand wheel should be firm. Now I'm going to take my thread, and I just use these tweezers, hold on to it, and I'm going to put at least about an inch of it down into these 2 little circles on the machine, and notice that it says no oil. This is not where you put in oil. And once I get that down in there a little bit, and I can try again if I don't get the first time, then with about a foot of extra thread pulled out, I just push air on, and it will thread it all the way through, and I can see that my thread came through over here. Okay. So I'm just threading the loopers. Now I've taken it down the front of the machine, I take it behind here, and I take it behind that thread guide. Make sure I get it behind that thread guide. Now I'm ready to do the other side. And on the Juki, it doesn't matter which one you do first. There's not a special order. You can do the needles and then the loopers, and you can do the right looper and then the left looper, the upper and the lower looper. It doesn't matter which order you do. So I'm just going to get about an inch in there, pull it out so I have about a foot to feed through, press on the button, and my loopers are threaded. Pretty easy. Now I'm going to thread the needles. And when you're ready to thread the needles, we're going to make sure that we've taken it through the tension control. My foot was up when I did it. I take it down under this guide and pull it all the way over. It goes under this guide here. I take it up, and now notice that the color here, on mine it is a square, it is teal colored. I'm going to make sure that I go in the teal colored guide with this right needle, and then I bring it down. I take it under and back of the first thread guide, and then at this part I usually like to use my tweezers again to go through the piggy tail, and I just grab the thread, take it around through the piggy tail, and now it's ready to go through my right needle. I'm going to pull a little bit of thread out, and just so that it's out of my way, at this point, when I've already gone through the tension controls, I can put my presser foot down. We also have a needle threader. If you push it to the right. It's going to thread the right needle first, and I am just going to take that thread, and if I don't want to use the needle threader, I can use my tweezers and just put it from front to back and go through the needle. But you can see it's kind of hard to do. So I'm going to use my needle threader. I'm going to push down, and as I push down with the needle, oh, I forgot one step. On the side over here, you have to have this lined up here. So I'm going to put this down. I'm going to turn my hand wheel until I have the little square lined up with the line on the machine. That will line up my needles at just the right height. Then when I put the needle threader in, it clicks down. Okay, so now I'm still trying to thread my right needle. I'm going to take it from right to left and just lay it in between that little guide, and then I push up and it threads my needle for me. And I can just grab my tweezers and pull that thread back to the back of my machine. And now I'm ready to thread my left needle. I've taken it to the front of the machine. It's underneath this guide. It's going to go under this guide. And my left needle, okay, here's the gray. Right here is the gray, and it's just color-coded. I'm going to raise my presser foot at this point again because I want to pull this thread through, and you don't want to have your tension. You don't want to ruin the tension. So I'm going to put it behind this guide, and then I like to use my tweezers when I take it around the piggy tail. Just take it around the piggy tail, and now you could do it by hand, but now I'm going to just simply pull the lever to the left so that I can push down the needle threader, and I'm ready to again place my needle, my thread right in the guide, pull up, and it automatically threads my needle. And then I can just grab my tweezers and pull that thread all the way to the back, and I am ready to start serging.